Hi folks, you're with Tacitus today, your pushback channel, and thank you for joining this live stream. In this essay, I'd like to talk about illegal immigration and sort of the large people movements going on around the world generally. I mean, none of them are organic. All of them are and pushed and arranged by the globalists and their flunkies in the NGOs and so on. So, but there's been a few recent cases that I've come to my notice in Australia, and they're people who've come from various countries, and they've gone through a 10-year process of detention, and they're finally being let out now. There's a large sort of on the left wing and the leftist media and that sort of thing. They've really been pushing this idea that it's inhumane. It's outrageous you keep these people in detention. They've only arrived here illegally. They've only passed 17 different countries to get here. So why can't they stay? They're illiterate in their own language. They have no qualifications. They can add no value to anything. They're not needed here in the Australian economy, but they have a right to stay. And if you've got a problem with that, you damn fascist Nazi Hitler. So this is the sort of the level of the debate, if you can even call it. Now, firstly, just to sort of get this clear, these people were not in detention. They were permitted at any time to return to their country of origin or an adjacent country where, if there was any concerns over safety, for example, a civil war or some sort of stuff going on, they could stay in an adjacent country. So they were permitted at any time to leave. They were not being detained. They were just not being let into Australia, but they could have gone home at any time. And there's nothing stopping them doing that. But they chose to stay for 10 years in detention. Now, let's look at detention. Let's put some perspective on detention. They weren't allowed out into the wider community, but they were given free accommodation to a much higher standard than they had in their home country. Air-conditioned accommodation, free food, free medical and dental care, free clothes, free television, and so on and so forth. So they're all supplied for free. And again, a much higher standard of living, much higher than they ever could have had in their home country. So why would they leave? I mean, what's the incentive for them to leave? They're being, relative to what they used to, they're being very well treated and very well looked after. So they might as well hang around getting this, as far as they're concerned, royal treatment, in the hope that maybe one day they won't be forcibly sent back, but they'll be allowed to stay. Oh, why not? There's not much for them to go back to their own country. Unemployment there is 80%. So they just see, in economic terms, and that's all they're doing. They're just economic, shopping around for the best option in economic terms. They'd rather stay in a rich first world country, and who wouldn't, for Christ's sakes? But they had to pass through 17 different countries. Now, this is deemed as irrelevant by the activists and the NGOs and the globalists and many in the political class as well. Who cares? Who cares? They've come to Australia and now they're here. We have to let them stay. Why? Well, we morally have to let them stay. Why? They've passed through 17 different fucking countries to get here. Countries that have their own religion, have very similar, if not the same, customs and habits and ways of living. So why didn't they just go to the nearest, if assuming they were in danger, why didn't they just go to the nearest safe country, where, by the way, the United Nations is running camps to feed and house these people? Why didn't they do that? Then when the danger had passed, they could go back to their own country where all the people they know and all their relatives and all their ancestors come from. Why not do that? No. They're entitled to come to a first world country. And once they're here, once they've broken so many laws and they've gone through so many safe countries to come here just for a free ride, and then we have to let them stay, which is, of course, absurd. Now, these people were allegedly interviewed. I mean, the way they were were talking. It was very good quality English with a very keen understanding of the law and other bits and pieces, as they were, laws that they could exploit to stay. Now, also, what also was not mentioned was the NGOs and even legal aid in Australia. So the Australian taxpayer has paid all their legal fees. In some cases, these people, their legal fees have exceeded $1 million because the cases are dragged on for so long. And when you throw in their accommodation and all the cost of looking after them, easily $1 million. But for some reason, the will to send these people back, saying, look, you have passed through 17 different countries to get here. You're not staying, buddy. You're going back. Now, maybe there's a case to answer if the guy really is, a doctor with world recognized qualifications, not to, some sort of bullshit degree from the University of Ouagadougou or something, no, but an internationally recognized qualification. Then maybe there's a case to say, well, look, this person really can bring some value to the economy here, so maybe we should have a discussion with them about that. But no, they don't. They're letting in illiterate peasants, illiterate in their own language, and spending millions of dollars on their upkeep and care, and just for some reason refusing to send them back to and allowing the legal system to be absurdly exploited while this goes on. Now, this is a globalist play. It's not just happening in Australia or Britain or America or anything like that. I mean, in America, 200,000 illegals are crossing the border every month into the United States. Tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands into Europe in various guises. So this is a worldwide thing. It's sponsored and approved by the globalists and by the governments they control. And there's not a single sovereign government in the West anymore. It's all globalist controlled. And also by all the NGOs and all these. Now, the NGOs are actively going around population shopping, going to Africa and all these sort of places. If there's a bit of unrest there, that helps them, fine. But if there's not, they don't care. And they're just going in and saying, hey, you head over to the West and we'll help you get there. We'll provide the buses, the transport, the ships. We'll give you food and water at these various waypoints. We'll provide you with clothes. We'll give you mobile phones. We'll do everything, and we'll help you get into Europe or Britain or America or whatever the case may be. So now sometimes they're paying people smugglers to do it, but to do that they'd have to be quite well off. And I don't know how an illiterate peasant illiterate in their own language, who was a goat herder in wherever, would have enough money to bribe or pay a people smuggler. I don't get that. So what's typically happening is the people smugglers are in league with sham employment agencies in these places. So they then are effectively what would you say, apprenticed to, I know that's not really the right word. They're under bondage, wage bondage to these people smugglers, and in turn these labour hire firms, if you will. And so they have to spend years working in living 20 to a room and all this sort of crap until they've paid back these people smugglers and their sham labour hire employment hire front organisations that exist all over the United States and Britain and Australia and so on. So this is the extent of the scam that's going on, and it's reaching high gear. They're revving it up. Now, whether they think they're about to lose the opportunity to do it in the future, or whether or not they think that just a few more black, brown peasants in the West and the whites will be in minority, and we'll never have to worry about those damn elections again. Maybe that's the background of it, but it's hard to know. But white replacement is clearly the whether it's a byproduct of or is the actual end game, but it's gathering a pace. And places like Australia, the 98% white 20 plus years ago, and now 63% white. That's how quick and vast the changes are taking place. So I think whites will be a minority in many white countries within the next 15 years. You've been with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.